What's the haps, all you dirty dogs and alley cats? Welcome once again. Your old Uncle Video is feeling a little bit under the weather, which is a nice way of saying hungover. So I think we're gonna watch one of my favorite late 80s comedies starring Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher, Rick Dukeman, Bruce Dern, Robert Picardo, Dick Miller, Corey Feldman. There's only one movie that fits this description, and it is, of course, The Burbs. The Burbs opens appropriately on a quiet, peaceful suburban street. Well, at least it was peaceful and quiet for a second. So it looks like we've got some major league a-holes living on this cul-de-sac. And what do you do when your neighbors have no respect for you and are making racket till all hours of the night? Well, if you're anything like Ray Peterson, you swallow your anger and you slink back into your house with your tail between your legs. This really is the most real moment of suburban life that has ever been captured on film. I've lived in the suburbs for a long time, and we are all cowards. The next morning, we meet most of the neighborhood. You've got Rumsfeld, the ex-military hard-ass. And speaking of hard-asses, you have his MILF wife, Bonnie. Look but don't touch, boys. Art, the obnoxious oaf. Ricky, who is a meatball.
The kid next door is a meatball.
Walter, the grumpy old fart. And Ray's wife, Carol, and son, Dave. Is it just me, or is it weird to call a little kid Dave? Dave. Go outside and play, Dave. Hey, be back before dinner, Dave. It's not right. So as everybody's going about their morning, we learn that everybody is talking about these mysterious neighbors who were making all the noise last night. They moved in a month ago, and no one has ever even seen them. Except for the little boy named Dave, who has seen the neighbors. He's seen them in the middle of the night, in their backyard, digging. In the middle of the night, digging.
Kind of like grave diggers?
Maybe.
All right, that's enough of this conversation.
So Ray and Art finally goat each other into actually meeting the new neighbors. And they aggro a hive of angry bees instead.
Run to me! Run to water!
Hey, what do you get when you cross a beehive with a doorbell? It's a humdinger! I would have also accepted door buzzer. Let's keep watching the movie, though.
In Southeast Asia, we call this type of thing bad karma.
As night falls, Ray and Art are still licking their wounds, and the suburban paranoia is starting to creep in as Art tells Ricky the story of Skip, a guy from their town who murdered his whole family back when Ray and Art were kids.
A couple hours later, there's smoke pouring out of the windows of Skip's house. The firemen show up, they go into Skip's house. You know what they find?
What?
Skip's family. Dead. Murdered. By Skip. Weeks earlier. With an ice pick. Yeah. The guy killed his whole family. With an ice pick.
This is another scene that is so on the money about suburban life. It's like everybody has these effed up stories from their childhood. Everybody knows which houses are the murder houses.
Ever since his family has moved to this block, I've been noticing a weird kind of odor. Kind of like death.
Later, the gang decides to sneak over and peek into their neighbors' windows using a high-powered infrared scope. I'm pretty sure that's a crime, but sure. Just as they're about to make their move, they see someone emerge from the house, and then this happens. I've never seen that. I've never seen anybody drive their garbage down to the street and then bang the hell out of it with a stick. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that. I've never seen anybody drive their garbage down to the street and then bang the hell out of it with a stick. I've never seen that.
I just said that, dude. The next morning, while Art and Rumsfeld are digging through the garbage for proof that they're living next door to a murderer, Bonnie finds Old Man Walter's dog dirty and shivering and goes to check on Walter. So the garbage didn't give up any secrets, but now there's an even spicier mystery afoot, and that is, where is Old Man Walter?
I hope nothing happened to him.
I think we should call the police.
Oh, good plan, Ray.
Wait a minute, I think I see something moving in there.
How did you get in there?
A soldier's way. Saves the day.
Entree.
As they look around Walter's home, they find what appears to be signs of a struggle, and then Bonnie finds what's left of Walter.
It's Walter's toupee.
Oh, geez, beautiful place to keep a toupee on the stove. I'm starving.
You know one thing about these old guys? They don't ever leave the house without their hair.
So at this point, we've seen a guy taking out what is admittedly some pretty major anger issues on his garbage. The old man 2 houses down is MIA, but that's kind of it. It's not a whole lot to go on, but I do think there is a pretty obvious theory starting to emerge.
And I'm telling you, these people are Satanists. As I sit here, they are Satanists. Look, the world is full of these kind of things. Look at this. Black masses, mutilations. The incubus, the succubus. I'm telling you, Walter was a human sacrifice.
Not the direction I was going, but okay. Satanists.
Now, before somebody falls off a roof or sets themselves on fire, I think we should go over there, knock on their door, and invite ourselves in for a nice neighborly chat. Get to know these people like we should have done a month ago.
As theories about Walter being a human sacrifice to the Dark Lord are starting to boil over, Carol and Bonnie finally put their foot down. Put their foots down. Or put their feet down. None of those sound right. Anyway, thankfully this time knocking on the front door goes much better, and we finally meet the Klopeks. Dr. Werner Klopek, the brains. Uncle Reuben, the muscle. And Hans, the neckbeard. I should point out that while the Petersons and the Rumsfelds are getting to know their new neighbors, Art appears to be planning some sort of poor man's Mission Impossible something.
Just throw me over the tools.
Surprisingly, coffee with the Klopeks is going okay. It's tense, it's awkward, but it's okay. That is until Rumsfeld can't stand the civility anymore.
Why don't we just cut all this flight crap, all right? What's the weird goddamn noise you got coming out of here all the time?
I think that we should go...
What have you got in the cellar here, Klopek?
Mark!
Ray, come on, tell him what you saw. Tell him.
I have to use your bathroom.
Ray spills coffee on himself and runs to find a bathroom, and accidentally introduces us to the 4th member of the Klopek family, Landru, the Great Dane. And just that quick, Art's plans to creep around the Klopek's backyard blows up in his face. So it's at this point that our team regroups. You've got Carol and Bonnie. They think that, yes, absolutely, the Klopeks are really weird, but they're harmless. They seem good-hearted. They seem like just different. And then you've got Art and Rumsfeld, who believe now more than ever that the Klopeks are murderous, psychopathic ghouls. So we arrive at this really bizarre tie. Oh wait, it's not a tie. You forgot about Ray.
Maybe we could have a little participation here?
I think they're clean.
Oh.
I think Bonnie and Carol are right.
See?
That's right! Ray has come to his senses and knows that the Klopeks are strange, but not murderers. Obviously, this does not go over well with the boys, and Ray has no choice but to pull his dong out to establish dominance.
Hey, Ray, come on. It's just a figure of speech, Ray.
He's kidding around.
Ray.
Not really. Did you really think that was gonna happen? Ray reveals that he found Walter's toupee in the Klopeks' house during all the chaos. Siding with Carol and Bonnie was just a ruse. The hair was the proof he needed to tie the Klopeks to Walter's murder. And Ray is now a man with a purpose.
As soon as that car leaves in the morning, I'm going over the fence, and I'm not coming back till I find a dead body. Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
Today's the day we find out what's a-going on. One way or the other. The Klopeks leave, Ray tricks Carol into getting out of the house for the day, Rumsfeld sets up a command center, Ricky throws a party, and Bonnie is nowhere to be found. Don't ask me, she just kind of disappears till the last 10 minutes of the movie. At this point, hours of digging have turned up jack shit, so Art suggests searching the house.
And a thermostat on a home furnace, is that supposed to go to 5,000 degrees, you think?
This is no ordinary furnace.
The puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place. The Klopeks must burn up the bodies of their victims in the furnace and bury them in the basement. You know, technically, we have zero evidence that these people are up to anything at all at this point. So, whatever. You do you, Ray. Uh-oh. The Klopeks know someone has broken into their home, and they sneak away to get the police.
Oh. That was metal. Hey! That was metal. You hit it. You hit a crypt. They buried him in a crypt. Maybe I'll go get my blowtorch.
And it's now, with Ray digging deeper and deeper into the Klopeks' basement, we finally discover the answer to the mystery that set off this whole chain of events. Where is Walter? Spoiler alert, he ain't buried in the basement.
Go on. Go on. Oh. Walter. Oh, I'm all right.
On top of Walter's miraculous return from the dead, the Klopeks are now back, and they've brought cops. This is looking pretty bad for Ray. I don't think it could get much worse.
He's looking at light in the gas light. I run!
Oh, that's much worse. Thankfully, though, Ray is not dead. He's just mostly dead. And in the aftermath of all of their scheming and paranoia, Ray finally gets it.
Remember what you were saying about people in the burbs, Art? People like Skip? People who mowed their lawn for the 800th time and then snap! Well, that's us! It's not them! That's us! We're the ones who are vaulting over the fences and peeking in through people's windows. We're the ones who are throwing garbage in the street and lighting fires. We're the ones who are acting suspicious and paranoid. We're the lunatics! Us! It's not them! It's us.
The Klopeks were innocent the whole time. It was just in everybody's heads. Or was it? As Ray is about to be taken away to the hospital, and then presumably prison, Dr. Klopek reveals that in fact they are serial killers, and now he has to kill Ray because Ray saw too many things when he was sneaking around the Klopeks' house. Thankfully, though, Ray has enough strength to fight off Dr. Klopek and cause Hans to crash the ambulance.
Don't start with me, Carol. The man confessed. They murdered the Naps. He's demented.
Hey, Sherlock, get the Klopeks to tell you where they buried the stiffs, okay?
You don't have a stiff. You don't have any evidence at all.
You do now.
And that is more or less where our story ends. What the hell. Let's get one last Corey Feldman close-up in.
God, I love this street.
The Burbs is a movie that I think slips under most people's radar nowadays, but I highly recommend you give it a watch. It's tightly written, it has an amazing cast, and it's filled with a sense of humor that I don't know how, but it manages to be equal parts goofball silly and incredibly dry satire. There are just so many funny little moments in this movie. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and Uncle Video will catch all you dirty dogs and alley cats on the flip-flop. Bye-bye.